We were just getting ready to start, and this is going to be Topic Tuesdays. It's an ACSP sort of initiative here, and we're all sitting home, and we thought this would be a cool way to share ideas and just see where the conversation goes. So, Wendy, you still frozen?
No, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Good. Okay, cool. So I'm hoping that I don't have to host this because I'm hoping it's going to be Wendy, but
I'm telling you, unmute Sean.
Sean's not muted. Unless he did it to himself.
He did it to himself.
So right now, you can unmute. I mean, you can mute yourself, whatever you want. There's no background noise. So, and with only, whatever, 10 or 12 of us, we could kind of keep it casual so we could all just speak. If it gets to the point where it's so there's so much background noise, then I will mute you. Yeah, and we're going to talk about home office. I'm going to talk about home offices. So I guess the first thing, I was talking with Wendy the other day, and the first thing that came up was, we take for granted that that we're so close to this industry that we really think that when people are looking for a home office that they will search closets. I don't think we realize this, but like I asked my wife who she would check for a home office. The first thing she said was IKEA. The last thing on her mind was a closet company. So I don't know, like I said, I think we're just so connected to it that we take it for granted. And I think that's something that's really important for us to have, build awareness to our teams. I know I was speaking with Mike yesterday, and Mike just said he created a web page and was doing a blog on home offices.
Yeah.
I got the same thing from a kitchen designer the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, I was talking about an office design. She goes, don't tell people you do offices. I do offices. So even the kitchen people are like, ooh, in the same boat. And then I posted something on Instagram the other day, and one of my interior designers goes, wait a minute, I didn't know you did that, because we don't talk enough about it. But now the new need is the home office. So with that comes the challenges of what do you forget? What our personal challenges are with the designing of it, the building of it. I know one of my biggest mistakes is always figuring out the height being overall, and that can be a debate of the overall height of 30 inches. But if you want a file drawer, then you have to reduce the toe kick. But you don't have to reduce the toe kick if you're doing a 3/4 inch countertop. So all these things that go into the design aspect of it and the manufacturing of it. So that's kind of where we're starting is, getting people interested in the home office, realizing that we do it. Am I frozen?
No, you're not frozen.
Okay. Anyway, so, just talking about the different things with the home offices, the desks, heights, depths, file widths, working with adjustable heights and how to do that, the different issues. Like when I do a home office, the last thing I want to see is those horrible looking cams, because then it does look like it came from IKEA. So like for me, I order an upper cabinet, and I would think, Sean, you have a different type of cam. I'll stop looking at the tiger.
That damn Carol Baskin. I can't think about anything else.
So when we do offices, we don't, all of our cabinets are built with the God, what are they called? The green little clips. No, they're fuck. It'll come to me. Lock dowel.
A lock dowel.
Yes. Dowel. Yeah, that's it. So we use ours. So we don't actually do it ourselves. We have a shop who makes it for us. So they use lock dowel. So there's no outside fasteners. There's no fasteners visible at all. It's top, bottom, side, and the back. Everything has lock dowels and spring clips, and the outside the cabinet, whether it's a base cabinet or an upper cabinet, it's all interchangeable. It has all true 32 mil system, so you can flip it any way you want, and it's still the same cabinet.
What I like
we
to
used
do
to use
is
cams though. It was hideous.
If you put a bottom on, say if you have a run of multiple upper cabinets, I hate to see the fact that it's one next to the other with a vertical. So I like to do a bottom that it protrudes out about another 1/4 of an inch, the way you might do a top shelf. You do the bottom as well. So it's a continuous, I mean, who hates to look up and see all these different cabinets like a kitchen does, unfortunately. So I just try to elevate it a little bit more that way.
How do you address that when you light it up? If with task lighting, you're just going through two pieces?
Go through
So
both.
that's a good thought. I mean, with lighting, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge. So then I put a bottom and then I make the front of it extend down.
Like a fascia.
Exactly.
That's what we do. So we'll use a light bridge and drop that bottom shelf so that the wiring can go in between.
Right.
Oh,
Like a sandwich. Like a sandwich.
Like a sandwich, yes. If somebody's really cost conscious and like you're bare bones trying to get it down, then we'll flip the bottom shelf so that the cams are inside the cabinet, not on the bottom, and that looks a little better. But ideally, we do the sandwich look. So 2 shelves.
The problem with flipping them, though, is the fact that you've lost a lot of your strength in that bottom shelf if they're going to be
You
putting
do.
heavy on there.
I said
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
a good
last
point.
resort if you're really trying to bare bones the price, but it's not ideal and not what we normally do. But it is an option. But then you do still see all the bottoms of the cabinet.
Well, then if it's going to be a price point, it's something that you have to talk to them about from the very beginning, and they're just going to have to accept it.
Yeah, sometimes.
Are you guys seeing an uptick in home offices with everything that's going on?
Not right now. No.
Oh, well, now it's
we
quiet.
just had a rush one, yeah.
You just had a rush one.
Yeah, they're working from home. They wanted their office. They didn't want to wait. We installed it on Saturday.
Wow.
I'm looking up for a home office, but they know that we're not going to get there.
Yeah, you're pretty locked down in Pennsylvania, Janet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lisa, you guys just opened, right? Like you're going to be going out to restaurants this weekend.
Next Monday.
Next
Wow.
Monday.
Wow.
Restaurants
Monday.
open Monday.
Wow.
Great.
Most
great.
everybody I'm seeing that owns a restaurant, though, says they're not opening Monday. They're going to stretch it out a bit. So we'll see.
Well,
Gotcha.
I think they're going to be very careful.
Right.
It's a good thing.
But we have been working the whole time. Business is down about 70%.
And how are you able? How are you able to be working during this? Did they not lock down all unnecessary businesses?
Construction was considered essential, and it specifically listed cabinets and homes.
Wow, because the only jobs that I'm able to do currently is I have 3 very large apartment jobs in a building that hasn't opened yet, and it's a healthcare, a high-end over 55 community, and it's a new building that hasn't been released to the community. And I just got a waiver for my guys to get them done before they turn the building over. That's the only work that we physically have been able to do since the 13th of March.
Wow.
I've been, don't get me wrong, my husband says he's never seen me so busy because I have so many people that are preparing for a project in the future. So I'm working on, they all know that they have to wait till we get released to start actually installing, but I have probably 12 projects I'm working on right now, like whole houses kind of thing.
Wow.
But they just have to wait.
But going back to desks, you don't have a lot of home office requests for the future, since I'm thinking there's going to be more work from home.
I have 2 home offices that I'm working on right now.
Okay.
But they know that it's going to be after we get released, which is past May 8th, I believe, at the soonest.
Wow.
So in the interest to keep it back to offices, I'd be curious to know people's thoughts on, I find in our neck of the woods up here in Toronto, people either kind of have two options. One is they go to high-end millwork and everything will be stained or painted, potentially, matching the rest of the house, where, as Wendy noted, kitchen companies tend to do it and they do a great job at it. Or the other end is the IKEA, where they just want something kind of crappy and they want the desk or office for like $149 or whatever it is. We obviously don't fall into either of those, where those are 2 extremes, and most of us would probably fall in the middle. So how would you guys market, or how would you explain your product to people, knowing that you're not, you're competing more with the high end? Maybe you can stain and paint, but if you can't, like I can't, how might you guys explain it to customers?
So when you're talking about staining or painting, you automatically are more than doubling your price point. Plain and simple. I had 2 master walk-in closets. They wanted it stained first, no, painted, real wood. I was in 125,000. He says, oh, you know, the economy, this thing crashing, and now I'm down to about 70,000 in laminate. But you have options of the different color laminates that look like real woods. If you could just satisfy the look with some of the higher end laminate selections that come with shaker style, which could be very transitional, beautiful hardware. Look at Richelieu's hardware. There's some beautiful stuff that you really can elevate it with just those touches.
Do you ever mix in hybrid, Janet, and do melamine boxes and then do a painted wood front?
I have not done that.
I've done it with closets, so it offsets the price, but I haven't done it with office yet.
I have not done that, I must admit. They always wanted, you know, the very high end, you know, with the wooden drawer boxes for their files, etc. But that is a thought.
And I think Barry has an answer towards when somebody's comparing wood to melamine. I didn't see that, but you have a standard answer for that? Wood compared to?
A couple of years ago, I had this issue come up, melamine versus solid wood. And I hired somebody to write a document on it. You know, solid wood is great, except that it's very expensive. It comes with maintenance. You still have to maintain it. If you want to add a shelf or add a door in 2 years, good luck getting everything to match. And I had an article written so I can hand it out that explains all of this. And if anybody wants that, just send me an email and I'll be glad to share it with you. And feel free to copy it and put it on your own letterhead. But, you know, for all of those reasons, some people still think, you know, solid wood is the way I want to go. It's just beautiful. I want cherry, I want oak, whatever. And it's the way they want to go. And I just remind myself that I'm not for everybody. Mm-hmm. And everybody's not for me. And that's okay.
We got your document, Barry, and I shared it with our sales team. So thank you for that. Oh, but also, if we can get someone into the showroom, it makes a huge difference when they actually see, and I'll turn off this in my background, if they actually see like the offices that we build, it changes a lot of people's minds. They're like, wow, we had no idea that they could be that nice. But it's no different with an office than a master closet when you're battling that I want real wood. Some of them you win and some of them you don't. We don't do any real wood anymore.
I think that negative connotation of the word melamine in general, right? So if you use the word TFL or TSS, I think that changes the conversation a little. I've actually been in a meeting with a kitchen company that was planning on doing closets, and I'm showing them the samples from Italy, and I called it TFL. And he said, oh, great, I don't like any of that melamine stuff. And I just smiled at the rep, and we just kept going, and that was it. So I think that homeowners, I think it's awareness. And like I said at the beginning, my wife, who loves to spend money, she would be happy to spend on a home office versus going to IKEA. But when I asked her, so who would we go to? She said, oh, IKEA. What do you mean? Where else would you go for a home office? She doesn't know that closet guys do offices. That wasn't on her radar at all.
I think that we should grab this opportunity that the new normal is going to be different. Mm-hmm. My husband has been working from home on my kitchen table as long as I've been home, and realizing that he can do almost everything from home instead of having to drive 45 minutes into the office. So I could very easily, unfortunately, see a change in what he does. It is driving me crazy. But so everybody else out there might find that working from home has a benefit. You could downsize your offices that you might be renting because, and I'm certainly not in the closet industry, but so my daughter's an attorney. Her office have been working from home and are told to work from home until June 15th. And they told her a month ago. So we have the unique opportunity of possibly jumping on the bandwagon very quickly by allowing everybody out there to know in creative ways that we do home offices so that your new normal might be a lot more organized.
I think the same can be said with the study areas. With all the homeschooling going on, I don't think there's going to be snow days anymore, because they've proven that at the drop of a hat, they can flip it around. You don't need a snow day. Guess what? You're learning remotely today. So
yeah, but I got rid of that whole Common Core thing real quick, let me tell you. So they're learning old school math the way it's supposed to be. But it is challenging. I mean, the kids, it is hard on the kids. I know my kids are young, and it is tough keeping them engaged.
But where are they doing it? Do they have a set place? Mike
Oh,
Fody
no,
and I
all over the
discussed
house.
this.
All over the house.
Right.
But your success and their success, they need a structured place, a structured hour. Just like you're working from, well, I think my first text to you was at 7:30 this morning, but your work hours are from 9 to 5. And that means, by having that structure with a time zone, structure with, not wearing your pajamas. Rich, you still wearing your pajamas?
Got my sweatpants on and my button down.
Oh, I froze.
I think that we get so wrapped up in the IKEA comment and that maybe we need to start asking the clients what they like to see at IKEA, because our product, like we do all melamine, but our product is in line with the style and look. Can everyone hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
The style and look of that IKEA can achieve. So maybe the client is just, they like the modern look of IKEA, and maybe they don't want to spend money on garbage IKEA.
Well,
I agree. IKEA does a great job of accenting and accessorizing, and you go into that and you just feel like, I mean, you can picture it in your house, right? They make it look so cool in the catalogs and on their website, for sure.
But
I
it's
think
not
we just all cringe when we hear that word, though. We just sort of like, oh, you want IKEA? You're not in my ballpark then.
So how many of you have a website that actually have detailed areas of the household and photos of projects that you do? So, I mean, we have a home office detailed page.
Yeah, so do we.
Yes.
Well,
We've been promoting it more on Facebook, more on the radio.
Right.
I've done a couple of Instagram lives with different people. I just did one again this morning, all about home office. We have a whole SEO segment dedicated to offices, but putting it on our Facebook page is great, but our designers, anyone who works for you, needs to also be putting it on their personal page. I mean, that just gets a much bigger reach. So
Sure.
Well, when I'm on a job measuring, I let the client look at my iPad, and I have plenty of photos of home offices on my iPad, and then they're like, "Oh, you do home offices? Oh, you do mudrooms? Oh," and they can, while you're measuring, it gives them something to do, and as long as you have it there, then many times they're like, "Oh, go measure my office space. Go measure this." Like if you have it in their hands while you're there doing another job, then they can see that you do it besides advertising.
So Patty, knowing that, I don't know if you and Wendy actually actively do any sort of pay-per-click, but do you guys, have you tried running a PPC campaign to see if it would generate any return? Or
We do
has anybody
zero
for that
paid
matter?
advertising.
we're
Does
running
anybody
one now.
do?
Yeah, we're running one now, but
For
we're
offices.
not getting any traction on it. Yeah,
We
Actually,
haven't
I haven't-
needed it luckily yet.
and I'm meeting with them again tomorrow to see if we can figure out why our paid ads aren't getting any home office traction when everybody's at home.
Well,
Yeah, so two things. One is, Lisa, I'd love to know, are people clicking on it? They're just not converting, so it's just not a great campaign.
Well, it's
And then,
our overall conversion rate is way down. Our business,
Sure.
we still have about 70% of our installs that were booked have postponed. So people
Yeah.
just don't want us in the house right now, even though we're doing the virtual consultations.
Yeah.
I just started last Wednesday was the first day of my home office pay-per-click. campaign. So I'll know more tomorrow when I review it.
So
Well,
guys,
if
I'm sorry. I just started a campaign. I've collected about 11,000 email addresses that I send out a monthly email to. And I sent out an email a month ago, 3 weeks ago, purely on home offices. And I had 2 inquiries. And I got to tell you, that's the cheapest cost per lead I've ever experienced in 6 years. Just putting it in MailChimp, sending out an email saying, hey, how about a home office? You know, you've now got to make the best use of your time at home. Let's really accelerate that. And I was at somebody's home yesterday. I hate to admit it because I preach staying home. I was at somebody's home yesterday negotiating a $9,000 office. So.
Did you put that's nice. Did you put an offer in your email blast, Mary, for the home office?
You know, that is such a sensitive topic, Lisa, only because in my market, everybody promotes 40% off. And I feel like if I don't promote 40% off, my phone's not going to ring. So I do what everybody else does. I jack up my list price and I deal it back by 40%. And to me, it feels like the cost of entry. I hate it. I don't like doing business that way, but if I don't, my phone doesn't ring.
You know, right
Just can't go
maybe the issue isn't being promotional, but being educational. So I was telling Richie yesterday, now we have another business that we sell laminate wall panels, and we do a lot of educational content. No PPC, actually I don't do any PPC in any business at this point, but people are responding. We're getting actually more leads than normal, but for people wanting free samples for this wall panel system we sell. And a lot of what I've been hearing and podcasts I've been listening to really talk about now maybe more on the education side and not be trying to get appointments necessarily, but try to get them in the sales funnel. So get them interested, let them know we know about this stuff, and kind of get them in the flow. And even with that email marketing, maybe, you know, Barry, it might be more articles about, you know, teaching them about home office design, as opposed to necessarily, hey, we have a deal, you know, because they don't want us in their home today. I mean, I can think of my wife. The only way somebody's coming in this home is if the pipes burst right now. It ain't happening, you know. So I'm just thinking, you know, maybe better to not necessarily promote, as we never think of promotion, but educate to start to let people know what we do. And maybe as this thing eases up, we may be able to get more on the promotion.
Can you write that up and send it to us? I have my social media manager following you everywhere to learn from you. You do a great job with that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but oh boy, I was listening to a guy, Michael, I don't know if anybody listens to Social Media Examiner, a guy named Michael Stelzner, but he's, you know, very social media marketing world. And that was a lot of what people have been talking about is like right now, even on Facebook right now, you can buy ads cheap, and that's good. But a lot of people still, I don't think, want us in their homes. I think that's where the rub comes is that's still not bad if we can get them in the marketing funnel. I mean, it doesn't pay the bills in the short run, but at least it gets, you know, we kind of get them in the process.
So Mike, knowing that then, would you run another email as a follow-up to that one? Say, I don't know where you're located. I should know this because we spoke about a month ago. But
we're in Ohio, but we email market.
Would you?
Yeah, we email market every week. We do zero. There's never been. We've never done, and maybe this is the wrong thing. We've never done an offer. Actually, it's just educational content each and every week, and we know we will put lead magnets to try to lead generate from it, but we don't do any offers at all actually in our email marketing, which I don't know, could be a mistake, but we don't. No, but it's all about
if you send out a home office saying, hey, you know, you're sequestered in your house, check this office out. You know, you can get really efficient if you do this, or whatever, you know, whatever it said. Would you then do a follow-up, say a month later, 2 weeks later, however many weeks later, and say like, now you're not stuck in your house anymore and you're going back to work, but why
Sure.
don't you continue to work from home with a sweet home office, and just kind of follow up on the topic you already spoke about? Or would you just
Oh, I
every
think
week
that's
it's
a fabulous idea. Sure. I think that, I just think right now, timing wise, it's hard because we're not, I mean, many of us are not letting people in our home, and to keep everybody safe in the home. So it's pretty hard. I mean, I had an appointment for tomorrow. The guy scheduled with me on Monday. And then this morning I had an email saying, hey, my wife Barb said, no go. And I said, hey, I totally get it. Not an issue. My wife would be the same way. And, follow up in a few weeks. I'm interested in this project. So I think it's hard for us to, I mean, we can't, some people just aren't comfortable with other human beings being in their house and, with masks on and gloves and even that, it's just, it just, I don't know, they're just hesitant, so I think if we educate, we've got nothing to lose. We're providing value. And there's a great book, if anybody, I don't know if everybody's ever heard of Marcus Sheridan, but he wrote a book called They Ask You Answer. It's all about using content marketing, whether it's video or audio or blogging, to basically set up our expertise. And I think now, and that's what I've seen in our shower wall is, I mean, I can't believe over the last 2 weeks the number of people that have responded that are interested. So, they're kicking the digital tire. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're buying, but they're interested and they're getting in the funnel. So I'm thinking maybe, time like this, we just have to look at it a little different. Much as, I mean, we can't pay the bills with leads. You can only pay the bills with cash. But, it may just be the time. I mean, going through anything like this, and why risk it? For many people, why risk having another human being in my house? It's not important enough, right now.
Yeah, I think focusing on being a resource, Mike, is a great thing to do right now. Keep you top of mind in front of your clients, whether that's a homeowner, a builder, a designer, what have you. That's kind of how I built my career, is trying to be a resource for everybody. So I get it. I think it's valid. Totally.
Creating the trust and like factor.
Yep. No like trust.
Not to deviate too far from the topic of offices. Everybody, I'm sure, does file drawers. Everybody does upper cabinets, lower cabinets, pull-out drawers for printers. But what might be some cool things that people are doing that maybe is unique to you, that you've kind of discovered on your own that maybe you haven't done? Like, I've never done one of the pop-up USB things that, or even power ports. I've never done one. I don't know how they work. Maybe someone can explain what they're doing that sets them apart from the IKEA or from the millwork company. Anybody can speak to that, perhaps?
We were just researching some fun gadgets for Patty's new office, and we found the charging plate. So for the new phones where you just lay your phone down flat, they had, instead of the round grommet, they had one of those. And then actually in a vanity, not an office, but I'm going to put this in an office because I don't want to drill a hole through the countertop. We found, I got it through Richie Lou. It was a little outlet plate that I stuck in the side of the cabinet. It had 2 of the outlets and then USB ports. And then I just had one single cord that fished through the back of the countertop, through the back of the cabinet, and then plugged into the main plug that was below the countertop. So I didn't have to drill through the counter. It was out of the way. I didn't have a big bulky, the back of the receptacle in my cabinet. It was just a flat plate and then one wire going down to plug in. And I'm going to be putting that in another unit now because it was so cool and it had the USB factors.
I think that's probably going to be the best thing about designers like us going in and designing offices, is that we're able to handle all of those details. You're not going to get that through IKEA, is being able to handle all of the wire management, the storage, and the function of all of the office things that they need, whether it be printers and desktop computers. It's all electronic, so all of that stuff needs to be plugged in. So being able to put a design together to where everything is going to be seamless, to give it a nice, clean, tight look, is going to be beneficial. Maybe with the educational part, that what Mike was talking about, is that's what makes working with individuals like us the best choice, is that we understand all of those things. I've done a couple of offices that I've been very successful in, and just because I like all that stuff, I love craft rooms, I like finding where things are going to run, how they're going to flow, but using those pop-up USB things have been very beneficial. Utilizing, nicer grommets than plastic docking drawers are really great to use. Being able to design around, bigger things that they're storing and still having a nice cohesive look.
Hey, is Denise Butchko on this call? Is there a countertop that has automatic charging in it? I thought Caesarstone had something like that.
Oh, that would be cool.
Really?
Oh, wow.
So Doug Mockett has those kinds of devices, but in terms of just quartz, no, it's just solid. You can, underneath countertop, there's a way that you can do a cooking burner and it's not visible at all, but not the grommet powered thing.
Yeah, those are a lot of cool things. I mean, I've done some offices with, glass countertops that are dry erase, really cool backsplashes, all of those things that you're going to need in an office. And specifically in home offices, for men, that have retired, it becomes this man cave, and it's a place that they can display some of their things, whether, their military medals or, successes. And we have the ability to bring all of those resources in to put together a really cool office versus going to a place like IKEA or Office Max, or even just, the kitchen people doing an office, which is just heavy cabinetry work.
I was just thinking that as I'm listening to all of you, I think what might be helpful is if we individually put together a list of those elements that we can customize in an office. That way, when we're meeting with a prospect and we see that, the guy is 6'4", we can say, gee, you're kind of tall. Wouldn't it be great if the desktop was at 34 inches instead of 31 inches so you're not bending over so far? And if we keep in mind those elements that we can customize for them, we're going to show the added value. I will say I was in a home recently that we're outfitting. It's new construction, and the homeowner put an IKEA closet system in. It looks great. It looks beautiful. But when you touch it, it feels like it's going to fall over and collapse. And, which causes me to say a couple things. One is, if somebody's shopping IKEA, I'm going to probe on that. And if they're committed to that ballpark, that range of product, I'm going to say I'm not a fit for you. And they always come back with, well, why do you say that? Well, it's like comparing an Acura to a Kia. An Acura is made to last. You're going to get 180,000 miles on it, where a Kia, you're going to get 30,000 miles on it. You're talking about two different things. With IKEA, you get it the way it is. Do you need 4 file drawers, or do you need 2? Or do you only need 1? Do you need any? So it's really a totally different customer. It's a totally different usage occasion. I weed them out, and if I weed out 20 a year and I lose 1 sale, honestly, I don't care, because I've saved time against those other 19 that just would have been a meandering maybe that went nowhere.
Is anybody doing the sit-to-stand desks? We're seeing a lot of traction on that. Any of the new offices that, like, any of the real office companies out there are doing a lot of sit-to-stand. And I know I have one in my house, and I find it, I like it a lot. I find that I stand a lot of the day and take some sitting breaks. I think it's a good accessory. It's expensive. It could be expensive too. There are different price points out there, or different levels. There are manual, tabletop, and I think it's an easy add, a couple $100 to a home office.
I have one at my house, and I love it at home, but I don't have one at work.
Yeah, and I bet when
don't
you're at work,
think
Lisa, you miss it.
I walk around all day at work. I can't sit. But I don't know that I've even shared that with my designers, which is my bad. That is a possibility in what we do.
I mean, yeah, there's been so many studies out that, you know, they compare sitting all day to, you know, practically smoking, right? So, and there is a lot of awareness about that. Like I said, I've been in some meetings with like some of those big office manufacturers, and they are pushing the sit to stand deal.
Yeah, Richie, I really miss my stand-up desk. My home office, I don't have a stand-up desk, but in my, you know, my 2 locations, I have a stand-up desk, and I'm up 80% of the time, and I
Right.
don't like, you know, I don't like being in the chair the whole day, actually.
Exactly. I feel the same way.
Does anybody
Anything
have
else?
any questions about designing home offices, issues that you've come across, things you don't understand?
That's a great question, and thank you for asking that. I'm designing an office right now where the client wants a large workstation, but she also wants 3 drawers, which is great. It's just that I feel like I have to put the drawers at a 90-degree angle to where she's sitting. And I'm just worried about her having to move and adjust her chair when she wants to access the drawers. Does anybody have a unique solution for drawer placement in the desk?
I'm trying to visualize the space and what you're talking about.
Why do you feel that you have to have it at a 90-degree angle?
The way she wants the office laid out is she wants cabinetry along one wall, and she wants the desktop to come out at a 90-degree angle from the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So she's sitting at the desktop. I feel like I have to put the drawers right there on her side, which means when she pulls the drawer out, it's going to come right at her.
So if they're file drawers, do lateral file drawers. So you're not using as deep a drawer. So she's only pulling it out that 16 inches versus 24. She
Right.
might not have to really move that much.
How far is the peninsula that's coming out? How big can you go? The desktop part.
We're going to go 40 inches out from the cabinet itself.
Oh, okay.
What is supporting the end? Are you doing a leg or are you doing a cabinet?
She actually wants a vertical panel there. She doesn't want a standalone leg. She wants a vertical panel.
Is that as far out as it can come, 40 inches? That's all the space you have? Because you could support the end with 2 vertical panels and 2 file drawers. So they would be right there. But you probably need a little more than 40 inches. So she has enough leg room.
Right.
So I just did a home office for a shared couple, and it really is their home office, but he does an awful lot of like volunteer work, and he's on, you know, like chambers of commerce, that kind of thing. So they had a lot of paperwork. So I put them back to back so that on one wall, he's there. In between them on the middle wall are all those series of lateral files. And then on the other wall is hers. And if you position underneath to the left and the right of the lateral files on that wall, if you have just deep storage underneath that they're still using, you're sort of getting the chair and everything out away from about 24 to 30 inches. So you should be okay to open up the files if they were next. Is that what it is, file drawers that she wants?
Yes.
Well, that for us, that was very successful. They actually put everything away. I'd hate to show you the before picture of what that home office looked like before we got in there.
That's why they called you.
It like a bomb had gone off. I don't know how they found the desktop with all the crap that they had in there.
So maybe Christina, maybe you can tell us something that you're seeing from a trend standpoint, whether it's mismatched countertops, like cabinets being one, countertops being another style. Like, are you seeing any trends on your end?
So we're seeing a lot of the Carrera marble 3DL being used. I used it in my own home office with chocolate pear, so 1-inch thick countertops. And in regards to a previous issue, you guys were talking about wood versus melamine, TFL, whatever you want to call it. Did you touch on antimicrobial properties at all? I mean,
We did not.
I think that's a really great selling point for all of you right now. I mean, Richie, you can speak to this as well. Not only is the TFL antimicrobial, if you take a look at Olon, OLON.ca, they have some great videos there about 5-piece stores and their antimicrobial properties and how hard they are to scratch and how because like a 3DL or a melamine or a TFL, because it's not porous like wood, the germs aren't going to stick to it. It's easier to clean. It's in use by a lot of hospitals. So the cleansers that they use, the very volatile cleansers, do not mar the surface. So those are some things I was thinking of. Some trends we're seeing. I'm seeing a lot of floating shelves right now. People are ordering a lot of white floating shelves, 18, 36, 48. In addition, the barn doors that we just started carrying, we're getting some traction on those. Right here, they're hiding my whiteboard in our conference room. So we're seeing some different applications for 3DL come to the forefront right now. Richie, maybe, I don't know that much about the TFL. Can you speak to the TFL properties, the antimicrobial properties?
Yeah. So we actually have a full line of panels that is all antibacterial. We have a handful of different product lines, but the most popular one we sell is a panel from Spain. It's all antibacterial. So if there is something on there, like a bacteria can grow and it grows exponentially. So over like 12 hours, you could have, two pieces of bacteria, and in 12 hours, it'll be like 2 million or something ridiculous. This panel stops the growth.
Right.
Now, it will not stop the growth of coronavirus, so don't go around telling people that. But
no, but they're easier to clean, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, you don't even have to clean it. It will eventually, after 24 hours, the bacteria is gone.
Is this the Finsa?
This is the Finsa, yeah. So it's 99%. It removes all bacteria within 99% effective in removing bacteria within 24 hours. And I'm sure every company out there is going to have a product eventually, right, within the next 6 months or so. But we got lucky when we brought in this line. We really didn't think antibacterial was a major selling feature. And I can tell you that now what's going on, I mean, I am having probably two Zoom meetings a day with major companies about the antibacterial product offering. And we do have it, we have a cut the size program, we have the panels, the edge banding, the whole nine. And
so Richie, you're saying that it's 99% removal of bacteria within 24 hours.
Correct.
What are you doing to that product, or is that product doing it all by itself?
So the product has a silver ion in it, and that silver ion is built into the paper, and that's what kills the bacteria.
And also Arauco Prism, they have a copper.
Correct.
Around this is the same thing, kills the bacteria eventually.
Right.
It's funny because I was just having a back and forth with my IFDA national board, because there was an article about silver being used in sheets, towels, copper being used in that.
There you go.
All the fact that these are products that they're being put into stuff in the household that is that antibacterial effect. And who knew? I mean, I didn't know anything about it.
Right. Yeah, I did a blog post probably a couple of weeks ago, and I can't tell you how. I mean, I think I got over 1,000 hits on it. Something ridiculous. It was through the roof, more than I ever got on any blog post. It was shared on LinkedIn a bunch of times, and yeah, it's. I think this is going to be a trend that sticks after this all goes away.
Definitely a trend.
Yeah.
We're all pausing to read Eric's text
Yeah,
messages.
sorry, I didn't know if he was saying something important. He was just saying hi. So
No,
hi,
it's not-
Eric.
no,
Thanks for joining.
Fair
Thanks
point.
for joining us, Eric.
Maybe Eric has some thoughts on.
Sorry,
home
I'm late. I had to
offices.
get a valet rod because they shipped me my valet rod without any post for it. So maybe Revachel
Close.
valet rods are not on my list anymore.
Uh-oh.
At least hampers are.
You should have called me. I would
Hamper.
have got you a valet rod.
Hey, Richie, you live in New York.
I got friends all over the world.
And by the way, I got 3 votes. 3 for you to come to Arizona.
All right, listen, I'm going to have to mute you if you're going to sidetrack this whole thing. We're doing real well till you got here. I want to let you know. We're 50 minutes in. We're getting ready to wind down, break for 5 o'clock drinks. Here we go.
I've already started my drinks, but maybe as we wind down,
This is vodka.
yeah, maybe we can, get a list of best practices that we can all aim towards. I want to say do, but maybe more aim towards. And cohesively, if everybody starts advertising home offices more and more, there's a better chance people will. Maybe we can draw interest in them at least, and we can try to capitalize on it that way. It definitely is a time.
So Richie, do you have any specific specs on the FINSA and this antibacterial function within? And that's something that you don't even have to say what product it is. Just say that I carry a line that is antibacterial and yada yada yada. And I don't want to misspeak. And I'm actually getting ready to do a little video for my social media gal to use. So this would be a perfect time to be able to drop that information into that. And I was planning on doing it after this meeting. If you can shoot it over to me now.
You got it. I will send you. I will send you a copy of the presentation that I run through when I have the meeting.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of bullets. You can read it, and pull some info out of it. No problem.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm having the FINSA installed right now, and I had no idea. Now I can't wait to tell the customer.
Right,
So
exactly.
that added bonus.
Sorry, Patty, I forgot to tell you what it meant.
Thank you. What do you mean what it meant? Oh,
About
FINSA?
that. Yeah, I've known.
Thanks.
God,
Oh,
one hand.
Why did you
doesn't tell
choose it,
other
Patty? The
anything,
color?
right?
I'm sorry?
Why did you choose it if it wasn't for that? It was for the color.
It was for the finish, yeah, the color. It's like a herringbone.
Mm.
Really
Ooh.
nice.
Super
It's really
popular.
nice.
Would love to see that.
Oh, you'll see. I'm sure Wendy's going to have it on Instagram.
We stock it right in your market, Lisa. Nobody's coming to show you? That breaks my heart.
I see
you
my
get
rep
samples
once
with
or twice a year. But I saw him last week and yelled at him, so
Okay, good.
I won't
All
be
right.
back for
I
a
like
while.
Christina's face right now.
Lisa, do you have a hat?
I have a hat? I do not have a hat.
Hey, Richie,
Calling my rep.
did you get us samples of the new products that you're going to carry?
Yeah, I think
You don't show it to me.
I think Eric already picked the samples that already picked the colors he's stocking.
Oh, well, that's going to change.
Well,
Once I-
I'll let you fight with Eric, but yeah, no, I think you brought in like 6 or 8. It's either 6 or 8 colors that he's got, and you already have it in your shop.
Oh, good. Great.
Yep.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yep.
Sean's point, bringing it back to Sean's point, collectively we need to get together and get best practices and standards so that we can get more awareness on the offices and desks, home offices, study centers, so that we can push these out more now that it's more needed and relevant.
Can we create a Google Doc for everyone to edit?
Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was about to say, if you're doing an 8-foot long desk down a wall, just remember to add a backsplash because the wall is not level. And you'll end up going back to fill in the gap. Put a
That's a good
backsplash,
point.
do something to cover it.
That's good.
But yeah, if somebody could start a Google Doc where we could all add to, then it'd be easy to come up with something shareable.
And it would be nice also if you added some pictures of some projects, or if you even have 3D renderings of what you've worked on, so somebody might get another idea. It might like help Barry when he sees how somebody does something with his current project.
Wendy, can you put together a Google Doc with it and email it to everybody? You already have the emails.
Did you pick me because my screen froze?
Yeah. Well, you already have all the email addresses, right?
Because I was just going to volunteer Sean.
Oh.
I was wondering if anyone's tracked their office, their leads that come in for home offices. Are those the jobs that you're selling, or are you selling the home offices to the client that you've already sold a closet to?
We're not getting any leads for home offices. Like, I don't think we've had any.
But the other thing too is if we're as to Richie's point, if we're not really highlighting that we're doing it, just think of your next campaign, an email campaign when you get back and running, is a little couple pictures of some recent home offices that you have done, and say, so now are you in the market for this now that we've just took care of your master walk-in closet or whatever? Some sort of
I'm just wondering if anyone's actually tracked whether that new lead gets the home office or whether the repeat client gets the home office.
I have not tracked.
I've always been taught that it's easier to sell more products to an existing customer than than get a new product to a new customer.
Right.
That's what I found, that it's easier to sell that home office if you're already selling them something else than that cold call that came through the office looking for the IKEA competitive home office.
Right.
Samantha, didn't you just sell a home office? It just hit me. I saw a great before and after photo. Wasn't that
yes,
you?
That was me. Thank you, Lisa.
It was fabulous.
Thank you. It was a homeschool area that I sold at the beginning of the coronavirus when all this was starting to go down. But yeah, it's used for
Was
a
it
homeschool
a repeat
area.
client, or they called us specifically for a home office?
Yes, it was a repeat client. I did their master last summer, and they came into the showroom to do the follow-up, saw all that we had to offer, and thought, oh, we want you to do our homeschool area. So
nice.
But I'm definitely going to do an email blast this week on home offices, because I have not done that, and we have 30,000 names, so can't hurt.
So are you only focusing on home offices right now because people are working from home?
I mean, we're focusing on we're focusing
Yeah.
on everything. It would just be a good, for our list of people we've already done work for, it would be a good thing to throw out.
100%.
It's falling closest to the ground kind of thing at this point.
Yes.
It's an easy
low hanging fruit. I mean, even if we get to, like, who was it? Barry said it's free.
I think that Mike was making a good point too, though, by educating those customers, because I've been doing Zoom meetings, and it's a lot easier to have that client send you those measurements of their closet than it is of their home office with all the obstructions. So
a little bit, yeah.
Doing that Zoom meeting with them is really like even got them excited to get ready to get installed after this is over. So I think maybe those bigger projects might be harder to get lined up in that queue, right?
So what I do is if somebody's going to get me measurements, I give them like a little graphic, and I tell them I need you to fill in this. Where is there an outlet, and how high is it off the floor? Go from left to right, always working from left to right. If you give them as much detail as possible, no matter what area they're going to be looking at for you to get you measurements, they don't feel so, gee, I don't know what you need. Hand them something that they have to fill in the blanks. And it helps a lot. I have 2 people that I'm working remotely for, and I have to have them get me measurements. One of them sends me measurements with the tape measure, then she takes a picture of the tape measure. I mean, she's really into it right now. You know, how high off the floor the center of that electric outlet is in the wall, kind of. She's really into it. She's doing a good job. I might give her a job.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The more you can ask them and give them detailed reasons why you need that specifically, you're going to be a lot closer to not having an oops, I put this in the wrong spot moment.
We did just have someone bring their drawing and measurements into the showroom. It was probably a month ago. And when we went to actually measure, she had missed by 3 feet on one wall. Like, not 3 inches, 3 feet.
I was
So-
having a Zoom meeting the other day with a client, and she had a step stool leaning against the wall. And I said, "Do I see an outlet behind that?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, I'm so glad you saw that. I completely forgot about it." So yeah.
That's great. All right. Well, I guess it's been almost an hour and we're getting to drinking time here on the East Coast. So does anybody have anything else they want to say or comment on before we go ahead, Eric? The floor is yours, man.
Since
Dazzle us.
I'm so late to this meeting.
Dazzle us. Go ahead.
I just don't know why we're talking about home offices, actually. Because don't laugh at me. I'm not funny. Because I think like people aren't going to call us for a home office right now when they're hoping they're going back to work. Like, so I get all the chatter and like brick and mortar is going down and everybody's going to work from home and blah, blah, blah. But let's face it, we're Americans. Women want to put their shoes away. We need to concentrate on closets. I know that all this stuff is really good, and I know that we should pay per click right now. But I don't think anybody should be doing a campaign on home offices right now. I agree with you. You can sell to the same person more stuff, Ricky. I agree with that. But I think I went through my pictures last night, and I have less home office pictures than anything else that I have. Like, I have a ton of garage cabinet pictures. I have a ton of laundry room pictures. And I think that's the same thing that we've always done. I think it's our mainstay. So I don't know what you guys decided. Barry, you need to wash your hair. I don't have any, so I can say that. But I really think
it's my new style.
I think now is the time to campaign, but I think now the time to campaign is for closets as usual. Same business we've always been in.
And trade business. Business.
Yeah.
I think you campaign for everything. Diversify.
Campaign for everything.
Everything.
I mean, my thought was they're saying a lot of people will continue to work from home.
That's it.
Even after this is all over. Like,
you know, everyone wants to get out of their house right now.
Richie, you're on the plane so
no
fast.
one's going to stay at home.
I get more work done. More work home, working from home, more work done than if I go into the office. If I go into the office, forget it. The radar is out. Oh, Janet's here, and everybody comes to me with nothing done. I just want my husband to go back to his office. That's all I want. I'm fine.
Let's rein it in since Eric has
ruined the whole thing.
Threw a bomb in our meeting.
Yeah, he crashed the meeting once again, right, Eric?
You got another hour. What are you guys gonna do? You're all closed down, okay?
Richie wants to drink. That's what we're gonna do.
So let him drink. Here, Richie, have a big one.
Now, I'm going home.
Well, we would like to put the question out there. We do have a list of topics, and we want to continue doing this as long as there's an interest. And although we do have a list of topics, is there anything that you guys would like to have discussed coming up?
Well, what is the list that you already have created?
Well, then I got to look it up.
We can put it on the Facebook page.
Andy,
You put it on the Facebook page.
We'll put it on the Facebook page.
We'll start a poll on the Facebook page, and then you guys can vote.
Okay.
Go ahead,
I vote for hampers.
Topic number one. What's working in marketing right now?
What's working in marketing?
Now.
Now, okay.
Not 2 months ago, now.
I will tell you, my TikTok the other day got like
I love it.
80 views.
That was a good TikTok, though. That was awesome.
I
got another one. I got another one in the can already. I'm gonna post it tomorrow.
Yes.
So what you need to do is teach everybody what a TikTok is first. I've been hearing it, but I don't even know what the hell.
Oh, I'd have to bring my 11-year-old kid in here. I mean, I didn't even know how to use it.
Clothes off for the public to see.
I know I'm on it. I'm on TikTok. I don't know how I got on it, but I'm on it.
It was fun. It did get a lot of. I mean, I actually posted it on Instagram, and I got so many people hit me up on Instagram with it. But people I didn't even know like that were following me. I didn't know. It really got a lot of now that's I'm not, you can't spend any of that,
He
but I did
stripped.
get a lot of action. I did get a lot of action.
He took his
I
clothes
was
off.
fully dressed the whole time.
Wasn't
I
it
didn't even. What do
reverse
you mean?
stripping? That's
Reverse?
Yeah,
one where you're
yeah.
putting
I
your
did,
clothes
yeah,
on?
I
yeah,
just want to
so-
know how you got tight pants on with boxer brief
Pajama
long johns
bottoms.
underneath.
Pajama bottoms.
How did you do that?
I'm getting.
All
I'm
right,
getting.
I
I'm
gotta
getting
go,
ripped in
guys. Good
quarantine.
to see you.
See you later,
Later.
Lisa. See you later, Lisa.
Bye.
Thanks for
Bye.
coming.
Yeah, that too.
Bye-bye.